All right, welcome to part 2 of the Insider first look of Blacklight Retribution. I'm Alan Donofrio again here with Ben CL3 from the UCG and all-star BLR player Tekky, running through some of the first in-game options that we see here and how to get started going on Blacklight Retribution for the new Steam launch and any other player out there who wants to check it out. So as you saw in part 1, we went through the social menu, and I actually just got a friend request here from Tekky, so I'll show you how to accept that here. Just go to the Friends tab, and you'll see on the right here, online, last online, 4 days ago, from people like that. Tekky just added me up, so I'm going to look at him. It says pending right there, and just accept request. Pretty standard, no big deal. And like the little animation there to let me know that Tekky is actually my friend. So thanks for being my friend, Tekky. I appreciate that.
I have at least one friend now.
I know. I have 3, so get on my level real fast.
Oh.
I know. It's okay. We'll all hug each other later. So we went through some of the things, the settings, the training, kind of what the training would be doing for you, and the social menu, as well as what the game will do for you. So we're going to look at the customization tool here, and this is where this game gets really interesting and why this shooter is a lot different and a lot more unique from anything else out there. Well, let's take a look at the profile real quick, and some of these things you can see in the social menu and other places as well, but for the purpose of this, we'll just go through it like this is the only place you can see it. The Unlocks tab is right here as well. We went through that in part 1. You can do it by level, by all, by award, weapons and weapon components. We'll talk to you a little bit more about what that means here a little bit. But then there's also the titles, which as we went through before, I just got the battle-hardened one, so all I had to do is click on it to achieve and equip one or the other. And obviously you can see if I were to click on a different one, I can either use the Zen, which is, I believe, the actual game money, like you have to pay to play with that. Cash money. Sorry, the cash money. The GP is the actual game money. So that would cost me 10,000 Zen. I don't know how much that is in actual money, but whatever. Don't need to worry about that. Apparently they say it's real cheap, so it can't be too bad. Looking at the emblem, again, this is what Tekky was talking about, where you can see it on each player. Mine is obviously on my left shoulder here, and I can see instant upgrades of when that actually starts happening. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to change mine up a little bit, make it awesome, you know, be sweet like that. So there's that, and pretty sweet customization right there. And you can right-click your character to kind of see him rotated and so on and so forth. So there's that. Emotes, and this is where the game gets really fun. Ben, I know this is one of your favorite options of the game. Why don't you take me through some of the emotes you got going on here and what they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, the emotes.
Sorry, man. The stream froze.
What do you mean it froze?
I was watching you, and I was off tab. Anyways.
Oh.
I'm getting there.
Okay, well, I'll kind of run through the emotes real quick. This game is a really fun taunt system that's built into it with all these different emotes or taunts, as they will say. I only have 2 equipped right now, and I think there's 2 you get pretty off the bat and early. The pump right there, you can see that going on here, and the other one is the finger wag. Where did that go? Here it is. You can kind of see how that works. What?
The T-bow.
The T-bow. The T-bow is one of the new ones, and again, it's you have to use your pay-to-play to do it. But if you take a look at it, this is boom. There it is. T-bow, rocking out. There's a bunch of different things though you can use. Obviously, some of them are unlocked through the game. Others you have to pay for, so on and so forth. Little digital images come up sometimes too, which is kind of fun. Little faces are really cute, kind of awesome. Where's the troll face one? Where is that one at? Is there? So I saw someone have a troll face one that was really fun.
That'd be Tekky's department. Tekky, you know what that was called by chance?
That one should be, actually, I was hanging part of my pistol. Let me see, where are we? We go to taunts, where, emotes, there we go. The troll face taunt, does it show on your screen? Does it show in your list of emotes?
There's a bunch that say digital. I don't know which one's the troll face one, but there is one in here.
So it actually says troll face.
It does?
The troll face taunt, yeah. It should just say troll face, and basically what it does is it just has the character shrugs, and it has a hologram troll face show up in front of the character's face.
It's pretty fun. I don't think I have that one, but There are some.
I don't know if that's able to be purchased at the moment. The way that you could get it very easily was a while back. If you bought $5 worth of Zen over a weekend, just bought it, you get it for free. So that was pretty
Fair
cool.
enough. But either way, there's a lot of little things in there to make this game a little bit more fun, all aside. Announcers, this is going to be sweet when it comes out. However, there are none out yet. But you can customize the announcer that says objectives and what's going on around the game. Same thing for default, the voices. C-Nanner's voice is kind of funny. I like that, but I don't have that one yet. So that's kind of the profile, some in-game things that you can kind of play around with. We'll take a look at the nodes now. I'm just going to go to we'll go to the socket real quick. So Ben, why don't you run me through these nodes real quick and what they do?
Yeah, they're basically like little, very minute perks that you can have in the game. I see you got like a green one, which is a uncommon. It gives you, what is that, plus 10 HP, or your level cap whenever you regen. Sort of like COD, but nonetheless, though, they're just very minute perks of the game. I guess they recently changed it where now they can only be bought through a chance pack, I think, if I'm not mistaken, which basically it's like you can buy them with in-game money or real money. So I'm not sure why they did that. You know, they used to be you would always get it, but nonetheless, though, it's just kind of a little thing for someone to do. You can fuse them together and make them even higher, and last longer. Like if you have a gray 1-for-1 that's a level 1, only lasts for like an hour or something, like a day. If you have a level 5, and it lasts for like 30 days. So you can fuse them together, make them better. So I guess just a little something different.
Now, since we're talking about fusion, I'm just putting some in here. It says chance of success 55%. It's 50 plus 5 based on some other items you might use to combine. And I click start fusion, and sometimes it comes up data loss. Now, what happens to that? It's the secondary one gets lost, right?
Tekky, I'm not sure how that works. I've had primaries go lost, and I had secondaries. Do you know what's up with that?
Yeah. So the primary and secondary slots are not what determine which node gets destroyed in combination. The node's level determines which one gets destroyed. If they're at the same level, then it's a greater chance either one. That also applies to when something is leveled up. When you have a node that, when you combine nodes and it combines successfully, whichever one's higher level is going to be the one that gets priority. And then vice versa, the lower level one will be the one that's destroyed if it doesn't work.
Yeah, so this is just a little in-game thing. It kind of gives you a little bit of an advantage, but really not too much. I fuse some of these here. I'll get that fuse in, and it tells you how long it remains. This one's 7 days, and it's just health recovery speed plus 2%. So it really isn't that big of a difference, but it makes a slight difference here and there. So those are the nodes, and obviously as you get higher level ones, the better they are. Now take a look at Hero, and these don't really come into play. At least I haven't seen them really come into play too much. You can obviously, they're just different heroes that have different abilities and different types of gear and stuff like that, so you can see their outlook here. And here's the really cool thing about the in-depth customization. There's a little tab here on the right. It's like a little table. There'll be a bunch of numbers in white, and then on the right of those there'll be numbers in red or green, or they'll be the same. And those pretty much just mean if you were to use this guy you're selected on, the green obviously is better, so the health is at 250 instead of 200 if I'm looking at this first guy here. Stamina's a little bit less. HRV, which we'll get to that what the HRV is in a minute. Recharge rate, run rate, and armor, all those things. And then this guy comes with certain things, so a fully customized large machine gun, so on and so forth. You can read all those things right there. Taunt is a flex. And then there's also the mercenary ones, which are locked, and you have to do certain things to unlock them as they go along. And you can see how all of these things move around. So, and it's interesting how the health things work. We'll talk more about health and what they mean. Obviously, the default for everyone is 200. We'll get into what snipers can do to that here in a bit when we start playing through the game a little bit. And then there's just a bunch of different type of little heroes that go on through this, and again, you can play around with that on your own time to see what's going on with all of that. Jumping into the equipment. Now this is where, a lot of people look at the armor scene and what that actually does for you. And the same kind of situation here. Now when we look at this, there's two good filters you need to look at as you start unlocking things. On the right here where it has the filter, you can hide the locked, or you can show it as only owned. So, for instance, I don't own any kind of helmet armor besides the default one. But if there were any that were locked, like I think these red ones will go away if I do that. Yep, the red ones will go away because I don't have those yet. I'm not able to buy those. So routinely, I will always click the hide locked so I can see what my options are. And obviously you can see the level of customization for the graphics are very, very good. But again, we look on the top, in the middle right here, it says everything that you need to know as far as what each of them actually do. If you highlight over them, it does say some other things like light helmet slightly increases speed and recharge rate to a medium heavy helmet to other types of different types of helmets. But again, it shows you everything you need to know over here on the right side. And it's the same thing with body armor all the way through. I'm going to hide locked again. And you can see all the different types of armor you can put on through. Same thing with the boots here, or lower body armor as they call it. All the way through. So you have a lot of customization that you can do here as far as what you want your character to look like, what you want it to be equipped as. If you want to go more of a heavy, slower character, you have the ability to do that. Trophies are just a little bit of fun things. I have the Purple Heart trophy, and some things give you different things going on. This one was just awarded for participating in the Player Appreciation Week, so not a big deal. And then there's camo, which is kind of cool. You can, obviously, as you go further up, there are different types of armor, different looks. It's pretty sweet. So lots of customization there. And then gear. Why don't we talk about the gear a little bit? Now, Tech, I know you love a lot of these gears. Show me what's going on and what the difference between some of these are, like the difference from the frag, what the EMP grenade does, the digi grenade, and all those. What do these do?
All right, let me move this to the list. Okay, so basically, when you start the game, you start with a single frag and a single combat knife, and those do pretty much what you'd expect them to. The frag is it's actually a very large radius grenade that has a rather small kill radius, so it'll damage a lot of people in an area, but it won't be able to instant kill as many of them. And then the combat knife functions, like the regular combat knife. Then you have something like the EMP and the digigrenades, which are the next two unlocks. Those function like traditional flash and smoke grenades in other games, except that they have slightly different tweaks to be perfectly reasonable in the universe. So EMP grenades are like flashes in that they actually give your character a blue screen, and you can't really fire through that unless you already knew where they were, or you can hear them or something like that. And the digigrenades function like smokes, except they are considerably more debilitating. They also fuzz up your screen when you walk through them, and they make you vulnerable to electro ammo, taking extra damage from them when you walk through them. HRV decoys function like, they look kind of like mines, and when you place them, it projects a picture of a standard character standing above them in HRV mode. The Combat Knife Mark II is a slightly upgraded standard knife with a faster swing and slightly more damage. It's still one-shot headshots, both of them did. Stun mines they don't do very much damage when you walk over them, but they slow your character down considerably. It's like getting hit by a stun grenade in Call of Duty, except that it does not mess with your vision as much. Also, it's in a fairly large area with an 8-meter radius. HRV Blackout prevents HRV use in a small area. Like, you can still use it, but you won't be able to see anybody inside the HRV Blackout areas. That includes teammates also. Like, you can't see your own mines if they're inside Blackout. I guess it's okay. Shock grenades are damaging grenades. They have a large radius, and they do 300 damage, which is, if I'm correct, it's slightly lower than the regular frag. However, it's still very lethal if you land directly on someone, and it also makes you vulnerable to electro ammo, and it messes with your vision as well. It also prevents hard suits from firing, so it does the same EMP effect as the EMP grenade, but it does not do it as long. So that's that. Then you have the higher level ones from that point on, I suppose. I guess you don't see them as often. Well, you see HE grenades a lot. But then you have toxic grenades, which are getting a lot more common now. According to the gear, it does 150 damage per second. I'm not actually sure if that's true. It has a very small radius at 5 meters. So that's really useful for area control. It damages people in an area. It functions kind of like let's see, what are they, Nova grenades from Black Ops? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. I
That's
know what you mean.
They function almost exactly like that.
Yeah,
the machete is the highest level knife, I suppose. Oh, wait, what?
I was just gonna say, yeah, it is. Everything just keeps as you get higher up, the levels get crazier and crazier with what the actual items do. So obviously, the higher level are, the more options you have. This is the interesting thing, and I think the two most effective things that we see so far, outside of the regular frag grenade, the EMP grenade, which does serve, like you said, as a flash grenade. But the difference is, it makes it look like your computer's about to shut down. Which I remember the first time I got hit by an EMP grenade, I thought I got the blue screen to death, and I was flipping out for a minute. But it was just the actual EMP grenade. So it's a little fun like that. The Digi grenade, again, it just digitalizes everything very subtly, so you can't see through. And as you get more and more into the game, you see these things, you'll understand what they are. The HRV decoy, we'll get into the HRV here in a second as we dig into the game. And also some of the depot things and what depot is. But kind of going through some of the depot items, you have a standard ammo refill, health refill. You can get a flamethrower, a hard suit, heavy weapon refill, stinger, missiles, and there's a lot of different things. There's miniguns, deployable turrets, so on and so forth. A lot of different things you can get out of the depot. We'll talk more about the depot when we get into the game and look more at it. But let's get to the most fun thing here, and that's the weapons customization. And some interesting things about the weapons is everyone starts with the same gun. This gun right here is what everyone starts with. Doesn't matter if you want to play an SMG, a sniper, an assault rifle, a large machine gun. Everyone starts with the same actual weapon. There's not different types. We'll dig through the customization part first. We'll skip this pre-made category. But we're going to go through this. You can customize everything from a receiver to a muzzle to a barrel, all the way down through the weapon tag and camo. And if we take a look at this real quick, this is where you can actually switch what your gun type actually is in the receiver category. So the natural is the assault rifle, if you look at it. So the assault rifle, it says right here, if you highlight over it, balanced weapon overall, offering high rate of fire with moderate stopping power. So that's your standard AR, assault rifle right there. Also, you have your bolt action rifle, which, as you can see, looks kind of goofy right now just by looking at the receiver. The thing that is, and the receiver is obviously what kind of cartridge it's going to take and what kind of rounds you're going to put into it. And you can see over here, this is where the table becomes really, really helpful because it has everything from damage to ammo size, all the way through things, the spread hit range, the maximum spread hit range, and the spread when you're aimed in, and the maximum spread that you can get when you're aimed in as well. Things like recoil and range as well, and also zoom and zoom speed, things like that, reload speed, fire rate, everything that you would ever want to know about a gun you can find on that table. So the bolt action rifle will serve as your principal sniper rifle type loadout. You'd obviously do some more customization to it to make it look more like a sniper rifle. But that's kind of that combat rifle. Kind of the same thing. It's a semi-auto sniper rifle. You can look at it that way. So single clicking all the way through. Burst fire rifle, pretty self-explanatory. Obviously 3-round bursts. Again, you can see some of the things that it does over here to the range of what is equipped right now. It doesn't have what's equipped next to you. It's what it's equipped right now. So this is the comparison to what your assault rifle would do. Then obviously submachine gun, self-explanatory there. You're going to get less damage, more bullets, stuff like that. Light machine gun, LMG. Same, obviously, idea right there. More ammo, more damage, bigger spread. Heavy assault rifle, which I haven't unlocked yet. But you can go through these and see those all on your own will as well. So for our intents and purposes, we'll stick with the assault rifle here. Actually, you know what? We're actually going to go ahead and show you how to buy stuff. So I'm going to do the burst fire rifle. I'm going to purchase that. And you can see I have enough GP to buy. It's only 200 GP. And the thing about this, and what makes this game different from other games is, 200 GP doesn't seem like a lot, but it can add up when you start customizing every little thing on your gun. But the cool thing about this game is you earn a lot of GP based on how you play in each individual game. So you don't have to wait till you level up. Obviously, you get more things unlocked, and you get a little bit of an influx in money when you do level up. But you don't have to wait for that. It's not your standard MMO FPS where you have to wait to become a colonel before you can afford a certain type of gun or you can replenish your money. And you never actually lose your guns either. You do have to repair them, which we'll get to a little bit later here. But looking at the muzzles, same principle here. If we look through, obviously I can buy one or the other, and it starts changing what my muzzles will start to look like, and it'll tell me what the pluses and minuses of all of those are. Same thing for the barrel. So this is where things get really fun with the game. And Tekky, you're pretty renowned player right now in the community. How much customization do you put into your gun to make sure you perform as best as you can?
My gun has nothing standard on it. I use two different ones. I use the HAR because, well, it's pretty easy to use at the moment. It's actually getting nerfed soon. But then the weapon that I use, which I'd like to be a lot better, hopefully when the MMG comes out I'll be able to switch that to this. I'm using an LMG with a very high accuracy barrel, a high accuracy muzzle, and the highest accuracy stock I can put on it. So it has minimum spread for an LMG, which admittedly isn't very small. It's still an LMG, so it's not very accurate at all, but it's as far as I can get it there. You're going to find that most weapons, the most optimal build you're going to find for a lot of weapons are high accuracy at the moment. Though the game is being updated very, very frequently, and you can probably expect some other kind of rebalance soon. The forums are very ablaze with different suggestions for how to deal with the current accuracy. But aside from that, yeah, I generally try to run either high accuracy or high damage builds. And I have a lot of different gun parts permed. Not all of them with Zen, though. I have a lot of them permed with GP. Because at a certain point, probably one of the best ideas is if you decide to pick up the starter pack on Steam, that will very much reduce the amount of GP you'll be spending. So it becomes really, really easy to get things permed once you have one or two things permed. So what you need to worry about first is perming armor, so that you can get a general idea of what you want your build to be. And then when you start worrying about perming weapon parts, the standard assault rifle still performs pretty well. So the general idea is you want to be able to perm like a single build that you like, and then once you get to that point, it becomes really, really easy to get everything else permed.
Yeah.
There's always I try to try out different things.
There's a lot of different things, and a lot of the players out there that want to get good at this game and do well spend a lot of time actually in the customization screen after they get money to do it. And then the last little thing here that we'll take a look at is the weapon tag, and this is something that it gives different bonuses based on whatever one you're using. For instance, I use the bulldozer, which is recoil advantage, so there's less recoil that's involved with the gun. You can take a look at all the different things that are in here. Some become unlocked, others you have to buy. They're all little fun things that you can put into it. And then as you level up and stuff, you get a second loadout, so you can go ahead and make another gun if you would like to. And taking a look at the pre-made guns, these are all just different types of guns that have been made by the community and have been added into the shop for your own personal use. And there's all different kinds of one. It tells you what kind, SMG pre-made, all the way across. So if you're finding yourself low on GP, you can take a look at this one. It only costs 200 GP to buy this gun. Obviously, that's not a lot, but you don't have as much flexibility with it. You have to use what's pre-made on it. No choice is really aside. So if you're low on GP and you want to use something outside of the standard gun, this is definitely your way to go as far as looking at different weapons and how the pre-mades work. And that's just kind of a look there of what the customization screen looks at. The marketplace, if we take a quick look, it's just a shop pretty much, and you can find just about everything that you want for your weapons on the customized screen. So I don't spend a lot of time in here because you can pretty much buy everything in the different sections of places. The only other thing is you get different packs you can use as well in here, hero packs, weapon packs, bundles, others. Utility, things like clans, you can create a clan, emblems, everything that you possibly would want to see. And again, here are the emotes ones, and these are all the ones that we've already seen before, and they just show you off the bat. So yeah, that's kind of the look there at the overall marketplace and customization. We're going to do another part here in a second, looking at actual gameplay and what your best strategy might be as a beginning player, or even if you want to try to get a little better, just kind of how the game mechanics work. We'll explain things like the HRV and the depots in the next series of this, so make sure you stay tuned and watch the third part of a first look into Blacklight Retribution here on InclineTV. Thank you very much.